Here's sort of my view. When I talk about the bureaucracy as something we need to bring a chainsaw to, I actually draw a distinction between the bureaucracy as its own self-perpetuating organism and the individual 3 million people who populate it. So there are certainly some people who are in positions of authority who are just individually bad people, absolutely, that need to be purged from the federal government and get out and back into normal life, and maybe they can be rehabilitated, but they're going to be, that's not going to be the job of the new government. That's going to be something that their own spiritual advisors have to help them through. That's a separate category. But I think that's a relatively small minority of the 3+ million federal civil servants who I do think are probably dead weight, worse than dead weight, because they're actually inadvertently even doing things that are net harmful to the country. I think it's the machine itself that I think is a big part of the problem. A lot of these people are people who individually believe that they're carrying out some sort of good. And it comes from this sort of organizational conceit, which is basically skeptical of self-governance, right? I mean, it's as old as human beings are, is the idea that you can govern yourself was mostly a radical idea that most people thought was laughable and crazy. I mean, that's why we fought the American Revolution over the exact topic that you and I are talking about here. Because the basic view is that if you leave it to we the people, you'll burn yourself out of existence through global warming or climate change, or you'll harm yourself before you even know it through racial equity failures or climate change failures. That's the equivalent of what the old European worldview was that the idea that we the people could be trusted to govern ourselves and express our own opinions, that was crazy. That's why we fought an American Revolution. Well, it turns out that ugly monster is just rearing its head again, saying that, no, you actually can't be trusted to self-govern. So we'll tell you that you are, to give you the satisfaction of believing that you live in a republic. See, that was actually, they could think of, rewrite the American Revolution through a revisionist lens and say, okay, you can't tell people they live in a monarchy, but if you can at least keep the parts of a monarchy that are required for society to continue to exist, but fool people into thinking they live in a democracy or a self-governing republic, that's almost good enough. And that comes with some inconveniences because sometimes it will actually even behave a little bit like a democracy at times. But in the core questions, at least if it was unelected people who actually made those decisions, that machine is actually what protects humanity from itself. And so the people who occupy those positions are individually people who believe that they are doing the right thing, not even for themselves or that they're trying to harm their fellow citizens. They're doing the right thing for their fellow citizens. I'm thinking about the average civil servant working at the FDA or the SEC or whatever. They believe that if it weren't for them, the silent, the Bruce Wayne figure that they are, right? The hero that Gotham deserves. That's how they think about themselves. And individually, I guess you could say that motivation, as much as there's a conceit embedded in that, like they're not individually irredeemable people. I just think that they have become part of a machine that is irredeemable. And so maybe they'll continue to watch Jimmy Kimmel. That's like a separate issue, right? We have cultural issues in the country. But if we view the bureaucracy as its own target, separate and apart from the individuals who comprise it, I think that's going to, A, allow us to be more successful, and B, allow us to, I think, sell it to the rest of the country, and not in a fake sale, but like a true sale, to say that we don't hold this against the individuals who are working here, who have put in 20 years of work to the federal government, but we owe it to the rest of the people of this country that the job of the federal government is not to employ these people.